Thank you very much for being here. There are two projects I'm going to show you. Gema is the first one, and the second one is Sisdai. Here in the bottom of the presentation, you can see where we are. There are just 4 sections. At the beginning, I'm going to give you an introduction. Then I'm going to talk about Gema, then Sisdai, and then the conclusion. And well, this is a part of the team that made this possible. They are an amazing team, and for me it was very important to put the photo of them because all the things you're going to see, it's about their work. And it's a very interdisciplinary team. I'm going to read all the expertises because I think it's important to understand how these kind of projects can be made. So we have people expertise in data analysis, in GIS, in information design, in digital accessibility, in geoinformatics, in front-end and back-end development, in web design, in illustration, in graphic design, UA and UX design, data visualization, public policy, software engineering, project management, communication, research, and data governance. It's important to have people with project management, public policy, and data governance because this is a project made by the government for the government and also for the public good. I'm going to give you a very brief institutional context because it's important to understand how we did these projects and where they are. So Gema and Sisdai have been developed by the Center for Research in Geospatial Information Sciences and have been coordinated by the National Council of Humanities, Science and Technologies, which is a Mexican government institution responsible for establishing public policies on humanities, science, technologies, and innovation through the whole country. So everything starts with this question, and I think in many countries we have the same question. Is it possible to have a country in which the following groups collaborate to generate, publish, and consume open data and free software? And we are talking about government, academia, civil society, private sector, and media outlets. So Conahcyt, it's right here. We have a foot in government and a foot in academia. So it was a good place to start this project. So the development of Gema. Gema is a map manager, and Sisdai is a system of design and accessibility for research. Is based on 2 main premises. The first one, that information generated by public money should be public and for free. And the second, that the Mexican government is moving towards technological autonomy and independence. Therefore, free software components should be conceived for development and use in the federal public administration. Gema and Sisdai are also contributions to open science because these projects make available to the public data and geographic layers, but also methodology, code libraries, and design libraries. And they have also been developed to support national research and advocacy projects that address the following general themes that are the most important themes in general, I think, in the world: toxic agents and pollution, water, culture, education, energy and climate change, health, human security, etc. So now I'm going to start with Gema. This is the user interface of Gema. We have a mobile version, which is not that common in geographic information systems. In general, nobody cares if you can see the data in your mobile phone. We care. We know there's a lot of room for improvement in our mobile version, but it works. I don't know what is happening. Okay. So what were the premises that drove the development of Gema? Well, we all know that historically scientific production has been shared mainly in specialized journals, books, and research articles that generally involve payment. Additionally, what happened to the data used as input in research? It usually remains within the research teams and is not published, hindering replicability, interoperability, and methodological contrast. So how about making a platform that allows publishing open data from scientific, humanistic, and technological research? A platform conceptualized, designed, developed, and stored by the government with public resources. Thus, a GEM was born. Gema, in English GEM, takes its name from the combination of the first letter of the words gestor and mapas, in Spanish, map manager, thus alluding to a precious stone, as well as the gradual process it takes to become a real precious jewel, such as the constant transformation of data into information and knowledge. ¿Sabías eso tú? El nombre. So, Conahcyt finances research projects. So the idea is that the data resulting from these projects will be integrated into Gema. So research projects funded with public money should be open data for all. The data in Gema is interoperable within each other, but it will be amazing if we were interoperable with other government data, but we are not there yet. This project is moving towards institutional interoperability, and also we are exploring the incorporation of data outside the scope of government. So we can put also data about civil society or media outlets or other kind of data. In order to achieve this, Gema has developed the ETEC processes methodology, which is available on the website. ETEC means structuring, transformation, spatialization, and uploading. These processes are used to make all geographic layers interoperable with each other. All Gema layers can be downloaded in the following formats: GeoPackage, GeoJSON, Tabular, TXT, and PNG. In addition to the data resulting from the research projects, and in order to support the analysis, contrast, and visualization of data, Gema has loaded layers of information from different national agencies, making it possible to cross-reference official data with information derived from research and advocacy projects. This can be found in the context section. For example, in Gema, you can see information from the National Institute of Statistics and Geography, the Ministry of Health, the National Population Council, among others. So there is not just information about research projects, and also we have information from other agencies, so you can cross-reference. For further context and analysis of the data, Gema has collaborated with Humanitarian OpenStreetMap to integrate some OpenStreetMap layers into the project. This data can be accessed from the download section as well. So you can have, for example, the national road layer compared to the roads layer that OpenStreetMap has. So as a geospatial knowledge infrastructure, created in an open science environment and with accessibility criteria, Gema integrates a free data model as well as tools so that the users can explore, compile, visualize, and share geospatial information. This is the end of Gema right now, but Gema is built with Sisdai, so I'm going to show you the second project, that is Sisdai. So this is the user interface of Sisdai. So beyond being a free software project to build digital products, it's a design system that allows to establish rules, patterns, and practices to ensure the consistency of complex, flexible, and constantly evolving technology. All the design components are available on Figma, so you can go to that webpage, figma.com/Sisdai, and you can have the design components. Sisdai is based on the atomic design methodology. From simple elements, complex components and functions are formed, and these form functional and robust templates and user interfaces under the same logic to be able to decompose them if necessary. And I'm going to give you an example so you can understand what a design system is, because I can presume that nobody necessarily knows what a design system is. So we have a single element, in this case a button, that it says download data. That's an atom. Then we have a molecule who is more than one element together. Then an organism, which is a component. So you use the atom and the molecule to put it into an organism. Then you have a template, which is the way in which the components are organized among themselves and in a specific space. To finally have a page, the way in which atoms, molecules, organisms, and templates are organized together to develop a web page. This makes the system a modular, flexible, and scalable project. By using Sisdai, you will be able to explore buttons, menus, graphs, maps, components, and others that will allow you to develop accessible interfaces. And what do I mean about accessible? Well, the Sisdai portal aims to enable as many people as possible to perceive, understand, navigate, and interact correctly. This includes those with different disabilities: visual, hearing, motor, cognitive, neurological, sometimes older adults, or just people unfamiliar with the internet. And I'm very happy to share with you that recently Sisdai was finalist in the second Accessibility Institute Awards 2004 edition. So Sisdai has several web accessibility features, one of which is that you can convert graphs to tables. This helps people navigating with screen readers to access the data. For example, if you are blind and you are navigating the web and have a graph, it's very hard for the machine that talks out loud what is happening in the graph. So if you put a button there, automatically the graph converts to a table, so the reader can read the data and the people can understand what is happening there. Of course, this works with graphs with a little amount of variables. If you have a very big data visualization, it's very hard to do that. But there are another things you can do. So if you design whatever web page that you are working on, and you use this component, this web component, you guarantee that this component is accessible in your website. Accessibility functionalities are also available in our map component. One example is that we have a keyboard navigation. So this is a thing everybody has to explore more. It's very complicated to make a map accessible, but we have this function, so you can use just your keyboard to zoom in, zoom out, read the dialogues, and move the map from one side to other, up and down, just using the keyboard. So this is another component you can use in your projects and navigate with the keyboard. The code repositories, libraries, and documentation are developed by Mexican work teams where the Spanish language is privileged. So we have código en nuestro idioma y que usa lenguaje incluyente. That means that Spanish is being used in the documentation. So this is very important for our region, because in general, code is in English, and the second language that is more used in the world is Spanish. So why can we don't document in Spanish? So as you can see here, we have an example alternar escala gráfica, agregar capas registradas, invocar globo de información. Globo de información, it's a tooltip. We have to pick a name in Spanish for tooltip, and we were trying to figure this out, and globo de información was the answer. There are currently 4 public code libraries in NPM. If you go to NPM and search for CentroGeo MX, you can find these 4 libraries. The first one is Sisdai CSS, the second one Sisdai Components, the third one Sisdai Graphs, and the last one Sisdai Maps. So it's already available if you want to use them. So Sisdai enhances the social impact of research projects by promoting technological autonomy and independence with the use of free and accessible software components. Now I'm going to tell you the conclusion. So Gema and Sisdai are open projects in favor of the region, in which collaborations were carried out with research teams, institutions, and public centers. Please remember that this is a governmental project. These 2 are governmental projects. So it's very interesting, the kind of technology we could develop. Both projects are developed using open source technologies built in an interdisciplinary way and considering criteria for accessibility, usability, data visualization, good code practices, and user experience. And I'm going to invite you to reflect something. If you were to GeoChica's talk, you already know that, but if you weren't there, have you noticed that this conference has a high gender bias in the participants? If you take around in the room, there are more men than women, and in general, there are a lot of more men than women. So it is for this and many other reasons that it is important to have a gender perspective and intersectionality, of course, in the projects we carry out. To make a small contribution, Gema and Sisdai use and promote inclusive language. Also, that we use Spanish is also a contribution to inclusion. And I'm going to read you a quote from Alejandra Meneses, because if you are not related with the gender thing, maybe you don't know how we are talking about gender all the time. So I'm going to read this. Inclusive language materializes, in part, the profound social transformations we have experienced at local and global level. It makes us uncomfortable, it challenges, it makes us more aware of the political power of words. Cele was saying that before in GeoChicas. It's the political power of words. It invites us to question essentialisms based on patriarchal systems, just the language itself. Language is an expression of our thinking, a reflection of the uses and customs of a given society and culture. For this reason, for a long time, language has also been a source of symbolic violence, another tool through which the discrimination and inequality that has historically existed between women and men has been naturalized. This is why Sisdai and Gema also proposes and puts into practice the use of inclusive language, common words in technologies and design sciences, such as interfaz de usuario, in Spanish is a masculine of user interface, have been written in feminine, interfaz de usuaria. These and more examples you will find in the documentation of the system. And we have a feminist wing at the bottom of the page. It's made with love. So there are about 50 public layers of geographic information in Gema and 4 open source libraries in Sisdai, for everyone, free and ready to use. So, obrigada.